If you are constantly thinking, praying, and affirming that you want more money, you are actively destroying your financial future. Today, using the profound teachings of Neville Goddard, I am going to reveal exactly why wanting money cancels your wealth. And more importantly, I'm going to show you the ultimate psychological secret of what you must do instead. You have spent the last few years of your life crying to the universe, begging for more money, and staring at vision boards hoping for a miracle. And the universe has completely ignored you. Here is the terrifying absolute truth that the manifestation industry is hiding from you. Wanting something is the ultimate proof of poverty, and the universe only gives you exactly what you are. The universe only gives you exactly what you are. Every single time you say the words, "I want more money," the universe hears the underlying frequency, which is, "I do not have money." And it perfectly mirrors that lack right back into your physical reality. If you are finally ready to stop begging like a cosmic orphan, and you want to learn how to actually command reality like the creator you were born to be, take a brief moment to subscribe to this channel right now. The era of wanting ends today, and the era of absolute ownership begins right now. Let us deeply examine the massive illusion that has kept humanity trapped in the cycle of poverty for generations. You have been taught to treat the universe like a giant genie in the sky. You have been conditioned to believe that if you ask nicely enough, if you vibrate high enough, or if you do enough positive affirmations, the universe will take pity on you and grant your wishes. You treat manifestation as a transaction between you and an outside force. You believe that wealth is out there, somewhere in the distance, and you must somehow magnetically pull it toward you through the sheer force of your desire. This is a fundamental misunderstanding of quantum physics and spiritual law. The universe is not a genie. The universe is a blind, emotionless, perfectly accurate mirror. Imagine walking up to a large mirror in your bedroom. You stand in front of the glass and you start crying. You look at your reflection and you scream, "I want to be happy. Please make me happy. I desire happiness so badly." What does the mirror do? Does the mirror suddenly smile at you and hand you a cup of joy? Absolutely not. The mirror simply reflects back a very sad, desperate person screaming about how unhappy they are. The mirror has no choice. It cannot give you what you want. It can only reflect your current state of being. Your three-dimensional reality works in the exact same mechanical way. When you spend your days obsessing over the money you want, when you constantly think about the debts you want to pay off and the luxury life you want to live, you are standing in front of the quantum mirror and projecting a massive neon sign that says, "I am currently living in lack." And the mirror flawlessly reflects that lack by giving you more unexpected bills, more delayed payments, and more financial frustration. This brings us to the profound psychological difference between the beggar and the owner. The entire modern manifestation community has accidentally trained you to become a highly skilled spiritual beggar. What is the defining characteristic of a beggar? A beggar is someone who acknowledges that they do not possess the treasure. A beggar sits on the street corner, looks up at the people walking by, and hopes that someone with authority will drop a coin into their cup. A beggar is constantly in a state of seeking, yearning, and waiting. When you put money on a pedestal, when you treat wealth as this magical, elusive thing that you must aggressively chase, you are adopting the exact internal posture of the beggar. You are creating a massive psychological distance between you and the thing you desire. And the law of assumption dictates that you can never attract what you are chasing, because the very act of chasing confirms that the object is running away from you. The great mystic Neville Goddard understood this trap better than anyone in human history. He realized that the concept of desire was actually the greatest obstacle to manifestation. Neville taught that to truly manifest anything into your physical world, you must completely drop the desire and immediately assume the state of the wish fulfilled. He reminded us of the ancient scriptures, pointing out that the ultimate name of the Creator is not "I want." The name of the Creator is not "I will be." The true name of the divine Creator within you is simply "I am." I am is the most powerful statement in the universe because it is the only statement that exists in the present tense. It is the language of the owner. An owner does not want. If you own a pair of shoes, you do not sit on your couch and obsessively desire those shoes. You do not write in your journal 50 times, "I really want my shoes." You do not make a vision board with pictures of the shoes you already have in your closet. You simply put them on your feet and you walk out the door. Your relationship to the shoes is one of absolute, boring, neutral ownership. You are not vibrating at a high frequency because you have them. You just know that they are yours. This is the exact psychological shift you must make regarding massive wealth. You must cross the invisible bridge from the frantic, anxious state of wanting into the calm, quiet, undeniable state of being. When you say, "I am wealthy," your logical brain might initially fight you. Your conscious mind will look at your empty bank account and call you a liar. Your ego will scream that you are being delusional, but you must understand that your physical bank account is just the old reflection in the mirror. It is the delayed echo of the beggar you used to be. You cannot change the mirror by scratching at the glass. You can only change the mirror by changing the person standing in front of it. You must stop trying to acquire wealth from the outside world, and you must start generating the identity of wealth from within. The transition from wanting to being requires you to strip the external world of its power over your emotions. You have to realize that the universe does not have a brain to judge your requests. It does not decide if you are worthy or unworthy of having money. It does not test you to see if you have suffered enough to earn a reward. The universe is a passive machine that takes the exact mold of your deep, subconscious identity and fills it with physical circumstances. If your internal mold is shaped like a desperate person trying to get rich, the universe will pour concrete into that mold and give you a life full of desperation and endless trying. But the second you smash that old mold and replace it with the unshakable identity of someone who already has everything, the universe has no choice but to completely rearrange the atoms of your life to match the new instructions. You must abandon the childish idea that the universe is holding your money hostage. The wealth is not hiding from you. It is simply waiting for you to stop acting like a beggar who wants it and start acting like the master who already owns it. Let us expose the second massive illusion that has kept you running on a hamster wheel of financial frustration for years. I want to talk about the physical tools you have been told to use. I want to talk about the vision boards, the scripting journals, and the manifestation lists. You have probably spent hours cutting out pictures of luxury cars, massive mansions, and stacks of cash from magazines, and you carefully pasted them onto a large board. You hung that board on your bedroom wall, right where you can see it every single morning. You were told that by staring at these pictures, you would magically pull these objects into your physical reality. But I want you to pay very close attention to what is actually happening inside your mind when you look at that board. Every single time you wake up and stare at the picture of the mansion, what is the implicit, unspoken assumption you are making? You are looking at the board and saying to yourself, "I do not live in that house yet, but one day I will." You are looking at the picture of the money and saying, "I do not have this cash right now, but in the future it will be mine." I want to give you the second massive reward of this masterclass right now. I want to completely absolve you of the guilt you feel for failing to manifest your desires. It is not your fault that your vision board did not work. It is not your fault that writing your desires 55 times in a journal left you with nothing but a cramped hand and a broken heart. You failed because the tools you were given are fundamentally flawed. A vision board is not a magnet for wealth. A vision board is an altar of lack. It is a daily physical monument dedicated to the things you do not currently possess. By looking at it and hoping for a better tomorrow, you are accidentally commanding the universe to keep you exactly where you are today. You are trapped in the illusion of time, and until you break out of this specific trap, you will never hold the money in your physical hands. You must understand the quantum grammar of the universe. The universe does not possess a calendar. The universe does not understand the concept of tomorrow, next week, or next year. In the realm of ultimate reality, there is only one time, and that time is right now. The present moment is the only place where creation actually occurs. The future is a psychological disease created by the human ego to escape the discomfort of the present. When you write in your manifestation journal, "I will be a millionaire," or "I am going to receive a massive amount of money," you are casting a dark, paralyzing spell over your own life. Because the universe operates strictly as a mirror reflecting the present moment, it hears your future tense declaration, and it perfectly reflects it. It says, "You are absolutely right. You will be a millionaire in the future." And so, the universe places your wealth on a treadmill. You keep running toward it, but the wealth keeps moving perfectly out of your reach, remaining forever stuck in a tomorrow that mathematically never arrives. Neville Goddard was incredibly strict about this specific mechanism. He warned his students to never think of the end, but to only think from the end. Thinking of the end means you are looking at your wealth as a distant destination. Thinking from the end means you have already arrived, and you are viewing the world from the balcony of your completed manifestation. You must drag your desire out of the imaginary future and violently force it into the present tense. You do not want to be rich tomorrow, you are rich right now. You do not look at a picture of a car and hope to drive it. You close your eyes, you feel the leather of the steering wheel under your hands right now. You smell the new interior right now, and you assume the absolute identity of the owner in this exact second. You completely collapse the timeline. You destroy the waiting period. You merge the future into the present, leaving the universe with absolutely no choice but to instantly conform to your new, undeniable state of being. But as I say these words, I know exactly what is happening inside your mind. This brings us to the most agonizing, painful roadblock in the entire manifestation process. I can sit here and tell you to assume the identity of a wealthy person right now. Your logical intellect can listen to my words, understand the profound philosophy, and completely agree with the concept. You might be sitting there nodding your head, ready to declare your new identity. But then, reality hits. You open your banking application on your phone. You see the negative balance glaring back at you in red numbers. You hear the notification sound of an email from a debt collector, and in that exact fraction of a second, the beautiful spiritual philosophy of Neville Goddard is violently thrown out the window, and you are plunged back into a state of absolute crippling terror. Why does this happen? If the secret to wealth is to simply claim the identity of I am right now, why is it so agonizingly difficult to actually do it? Why do you feel like a massive fraud when you try to affirm that you are wealthy? The answer is not that you lack faith. The answer is not that you are spiritually broken. The answer is deeply rooted in your physical biology. You are failing to hold the identity of wealth because you are fighting a losing battle against your own nervous system. You must remember that you are not just a floating consciousness. You are operating a biological machine that has been carefully engineered by millions of years of brutal evolution. The primary directive of your physical body is not to make you a millionaire. The primary directive of your physical body is to keep you alive and prevent you from being eaten by predators. Thousands of years ago, if a human being saw a tiger in the jungle, their amygdala would instantly hijack their brain. It would flood their nervous system with massive amounts of cortisol and adrenaline. It would shut down the logical, creative parts of the brain and force the body into a desperate state of fight or flight. Today, you do not live in the jungle, and you are not being hunted by tigers, but your primitive nervous system does not know the difference between a physical predator and a negative bank balance. When you look at your unpaid bills, your brain perceives a literal mortal threat to your survival. It thinks you are going to starve. It thinks you are going to lose your shelter and die in the elements. Instantly, the biological alarm bells ring. Your chest tightens. Your breathing becomes shallow. Your stomach ties itself into painful knots. Your body is screaming that you are in extreme, immediate danger. And right in the middle of this intense chemical panic attack, you close your eyes and try to force yourself to feel like a relaxed, abundant, careless multimillionaire. Do you see the absolute madness of this approach? You are trying to overlay the high-frequency, peaceful identity of massive wealth on top of a physical nervous system that is violently vibrating with the low-frequency terror of imminent death. It is biologically impossible. You cannot out-affirm a dysregulated nervous system. You cannot trick a body that believes it is fighting for its life. Every time you try to say, I am rich, while your chest is tight with anxiety, your physical body rejects the affirmation as a dangerous lie. It forces your attention back to the physical threat. It drags your consciousness kicking and screaming back to the shadow on the wall. This is the biological resistance. This is the exact hidden reason why the rich get richer effortlessly and the poor stay poor despite trying every spiritual technique in the book. A wealthy person has a regulated nervous system regarding money. They feel biologically safe. A broke person has a traumatized nervous system regarding money. They feel biologically hunted. If you want to permanently transition from the identity of the beggar to the identity of the owner, you must first domesticate the animal of your physical body. You must manually reach into your biological hardware and turn off the survival alarm. You must learn how to speak the silent, chemical language of your own cells and convince them that the tiger is gone. Until your physical vessel feels completely, undeniably safe, your mind will never be allowed to rest on the throne of creation, because this biological trap is the exact place where 99% of manifestations go to die. I refuse to let you figure it out on your own. I have provided a highly specific mechanical solution for you. I want you to look right below this video. In the pinned comment section, I have left a vital resource there for you. It is a dedicated protocol designed entirely to regulate your nervous system and flush the survival hormones out of your bloodstream. It is the missing bridge between knowing the spiritual truth and actually allowing your physical body to experience it. By using this protocol to deactivate your fight or flight response, you instantly remove the biological friction that has been blocking your wealth. You finally create a safe, quiet, relaxed physical environment where the new identity of the millionaire can take root and permanently alter the trajectory of your life. Once the physical panic is neutralized, once the alarm bells are silenced and the body is resting in absolute safety, the real magic begins. You are finally ready to drop the desperate, exhausting tools of the beggar. You are finally ready to stop wanting, stop hoping, and stop waiting for tomorrow. You are completely primed and ready to execute the ultimate technique of reality creation. Now that your physical body is entirely regulated and resting in a state of profound biological safety, you are completely ready for the third massive reward of our time together. You are finally ready to learn the exact secret of what to do instead of wanting. If wanting money cancels your wealth, what is the this that you must do instead? Do this instead. Execute the ultimate act of quantum identity theft. This is the ultimate technique that bypasses all the useless effort, all the desperate begging, and all the exhausting vision boards. You must understand that you do not actually create wealth out of thin air. You do not force the universe to build a new reality for you from scratch. According to quantum mechanics and the profound teachings of Neville Goddard, creation is already finished. Every single version of your life, every possible outcome, and every imaginable level of wealth already exists right now in the quantum field. The broke version of you exists, and the multimillionaire version of you exists simultaneously. They are simply broadcasting on two completely different frequencies, exactly like two different radio stations. If you are listening to a radio station that is playing terrible, depressing music, you do not yell at the radio. You do not beg the radio to play a different song. You do not write a letter to the radio station demanding that they change their playlist. You simply reach out your hand and you turn the dial to a new frequency. The moment you tune into the new station, the new music instantly plays, and the old music completely ceases to exist in your reality. You did not create the new music. You just shifted your internal receiver to align with it. This is exactly what you must do with your financial identity. You do not try to become wealthy. You simply steal the identity of the version of you that is already wealthy, and you wear it like a completely new suit of clothes. How do you execute this quantum identity theft? You do not do it by going to the mall and maxing out your credit cards on luxury clothes you cannot afford. Spending money you do not have is not the behavior of a wealthy person. It is the deeply insecure behavior of a beggar who is desperately trying to prove to the world that they are not poor. A true master does not need to prove anything to the physical world. The identity theft happens entirely in the invisible, microscopic moments of your internal life. You must completely adopt the internal posture, the breathing patterns, and the silent assumptions of your millionaire self. I want you to think about how a multi-millionaire operates in their daily life. How does the wealthy version of you breathe? They do not take shallow, panicked breaths. They breathe slowly, deeply, and calmly, because their nervous system is not under attack. How does the wealthy version of you walk into a room? They do not rush. They do not shrink their shoulders. They walk with the slow, relaxed, unbothered arrogance of someone who owns the building. How does the wealthy version of you look at a menu in a restaurant? The broke version of you looks at the prices on the right side of the menu first, and then decides what they are allowed to eat based on their fear of lack. The wealthy version of you looks at the left side of the menu, decides what they actually desire to experience, and completely ignores the prices on the right, because the price is entirely irrelevant to their survival. You must begin to try on these psychological clothes right now, right in the middle of your currently broke three-dimensional reality. You wake up in your small apartment, but you do not carry the energy of a victim trapped in a small apartment. You walk to your kitchen with the exact internal posture of a monarch, walking through their grand estate. When you go to the grocery store and you swipe your debit card to pay for your food, you do not clench your jaw and pray that the card does not decline. You swipe the card with the careless, boring indifference of a billionaire buying a pack of gum. You are not faking the physical money. You are assuming the internal state of absolute financial security. You are wearing the invisible crown. And because the universe is a flawless, uncompromising mirror, it will look at your new internal posture. It will recognize the undeniable frequency of wealth, and it will be absolutely forced to rearrange the physical atoms of your world to match the new king or queen standing in front of it. As you practice this identity theft, you are going to experience a massive, terrifying psychological shift, and I must prepare you for it right now. This is the ultimate test to know if you have actually succeeded in shifting your identity. As you step into the state of the owner, you are going to wake up one day and realize that you no longer want the money. You will look at your manifestation list. You will look at the idea of being a millionaire and you will feel absolutely nothing. The burning, desperate, obsessive desire you carried for years will completely vanish. It will evaporate like a drop of water on a hot stove. When this happens, 99% of amateur manifestors enter a state of absolute panic. They think they have lost their manifestation. They think they have lost their drive, or that they are doing something wrong. They desperately try to force themselves to care again. They try to force themselves to want the money because they mistakenly believe that the desire is the fuel for the manifestation. Listen to me very carefully. If you lose the desire for your manifestation, it is the greatest, most profound symptom of absolute success. The death of your desire is the ultimate proof that your subconscious mind has completely accepted the new reality. Think about the profound logic of this. You cannot intensely desire something that you already possess. You do not sit on your couch and obsessively desire oxygen. You do not write in your journal 50 times a day, "I really want to breathe air." You do not make a vision board with pictures of oxygen molecules. You just breathe. You take the air completely for granted. You are entirely apathetic to the existence of oxygen because your access to it is absolute and unquestionable. The moment you truly assume the identity of massive wealth, you will treat money exactly the same way you treat oxygen. You will stop desiring it, you will stop obsessing over it, and you will stop checking your reality to see if it has arrived yet. You will enter the highest, most powerful state of manifestation that exists in the universe. You will enter the state of millionaire boredom. The fake gurus on the internet have poisoned your mind with the concept of high vibrations. They tell you that you must be jumping up and down with euphoric joy every time you think about money. They tell you to celebrate a $10 bill like you just won the lottery. This is a catastrophic error. When you act shocked, surprised, and overly excited about receiving money, you are sending a massive signal to the quantum mirror. You are telling the universe, "I am completely unaccustomed to having wealth. This is a rare and unusual miracle for me, and I am usually very broke." The universe hears that you are usually very broke, and it perfectly reflects that normal state back to you. Millionaires are not constantly excited about their money. They are profoundly, wonderfully bored by it. When a billionaire buys a new luxury car, their heart does not race. They do not cry tears of gratitude. They just sign the paper, take the keys, and drive away feeling completely neutral. It is normal for them. It is their baseline reality. If you want to force the universe to hand you massive amounts of money, you must completely normalize the presence of money in your nervous system. You must look at the idea of a $10,000 deposit hitting your account with the exact same emotional neutrality as tying your shoes or drinking a glass of water. Apathy is the true frequency of ownership. Neutrality is the absolute absence of resistance. When you stop treating wealth like a rare magical miracle, and you start treating it like a boring everyday fact of your existence, the universe will immediately flood your reality with cash, because there is no longer any energetic friction blocking the door. You must fundamentally redefine the concept of gratitude. Gratitude is not a desperate, frantic thank you to a god outside of yourself. It is not begging the universe to not take the money away. True gratitude is the calm, quiet, deeply anchored appreciation of someone who knows their power. It is the silent nod of a master recognizing their own reflection in the mirror. You look at your life, you feel the quiet emptiness where the anxiety used to be, and you simply whisper, "It is finished." You have arrived at the final threshold. You now know exactly why wanting money cancelled your wealth, and you know exactly what to do instead. You have spent your entire life operating from the exhausting, miserable consciousness of the beggar, asking for permission to be wealthy, but that illusion ends today. You have looked at the physical facts of your empty bank account and allowed them to dictate your spiritual truth. You have treated the universe like a stingy genie that needed to be convinced of your worthiness. But today, the illusion is completely shattered. Today, you realize that the universe never had a mind of its own. It was never judging you. It was never punishing you. It was only ever a flawless, obedient reflection of your own internal assumptions. You are the operant power of your reality. You are the architect, the director, and the undisputed monarch of your physical world. A monarch does not beg for gold. A monarch does not hope for a better tomorrow. A monarch simply takes their seat on the throne, issues a decree, and watches as the entire kingdom scrambles to make it a physical fact. You do not need to search for the wealth anymore. You do not need to figure out how it is going to come to you. You do not need to exhaust yourself with complicated techniques. Your only job, from this exact second forward, is to fiercely protect your new identity. When the old physical reality tries to intimidate you, when an unexpected bill arrives, or when the 3D world tries to trigger your old survival alarms, you will not react. You will remember that your body is regulated and safe. You will look at the physical illusion with the cold, amused apathy of the wealthy owner. You will remember that the 3D is just a dead star, a fading echo of the beggar you used to be. You will stand in front of the mirror, wearing your invisible crown, and you will refuse to flinch. And because you refuse to flinch, because you refuse to drop the assumption of wealth, the mirror will be violently forced to change its reflection to match your unwavering command. If you have listened to this entire masterclass, your mind has been irreversibly upgraded. You can never unhear this truth. You can never go back to being the desperate orphan begging the universe for a favor. But to permanently seal this new paradigm, to lock this new identity into your physical reality, you must take one final, definitive action. You must banish the word want from your vocabulary forever. Wanting is the language of the poor. Having is the language of the master. I want you to make a physical declaration right now. I want you to draw a hard line in the sand between your past of poverty and your future of absolute dominion. Scroll down to the comments section directly below this video and type these exact words to finalize your quantum identity theft. Type it with the absolute cold arrogance of the creator. Type, I no longer want, I already have. Let your physical fingers translate this divine law into the physical world. Let the universe see your final decree. I no longer want, I already have. The throne is yours, the mirror is waiting. Go claim your kingdom.